Child, what a week it has been. From Harry and Meghan securing that Netflix bag to Meghan dropping the With Love Meghan season 2 trailer to the royal family trying their best to distract us with a new house tour and failing miserably. And let's not forget, poor Sentebale getting dragged into the mess. Courtesy of Sophie and her shenanigans. The British press is still in mourning, guys. Oh my gosh. I feel almost sorry for them at their level of grief. They have been crying since Monday and it's weekend already. Somebody pass them the tissue, honestly, because the tears just won't stop. Oh, welcome, everyone. Welcome to Isabella Banks' YouTube channel. It's your girl, Wizzy here. And as always, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys this evening. Grab your tissues and grab your wine. Grab your tissues because you might laugh so much that tears will come out of your eyes. And grab your snacks because tonight we are going to be peeling back the layers on the shenanigans, right? One layer at a time. Let's see. Let me get this on for you. Right. So, where do we even start from? So much going on. All right, let's start, shall we, from the season 2 trailer. Not going all over it again because I mean it has been discussed ad nauseum on all platforms. And as someone said in the media this week, the British media are helping Meghan market her promote her show. So at this point, I almost feel like we, the squad, don't even need to do that much because the media are doing the most on Megan's behalf. And I'm sure that when that person said it, they were almost like, yeah, we know, but we can't stop talking about her. Just when they thought they could celebrate their little doom and gloom headlines, because after the trailer, after they renewed their Netflix partnership deal, and then the trailer dropped, then they began to lean into this, oh well, the new partnership deal is not that great anyway. I would love to be or have the opportunity to have a not so great partnership deal. And I'm sure members of the royal family would love the opportunity as well. So, what are they on about? Nobody knows. Anyway, Megan was like, okay, you guys are talking about me, right? Okay, hold my wine. Boom, season 2 trailer of With Love Megan dropped on her Instagram. And then it racked up millions of views in hours. Guys, we did her good. We did us and her haters did her good when it comes to that because the Rangers almost watch more than the squaddies do at this rate. I mean, when you have the Rangers like Angela Levin and what's her name? HRH Chelsea or whatever she calls herself on Twitter, they were losing their minds because of the trailer. Angela, wait, let me first of all tell you what the HRH Chelsea was saying. She was like calls for Meghan Markle's Netflix show to be cancelled because Meghan Markle sparked backlash with one special guest in the new season of her Netflix series. And then Angela Levin replied, if you are calling for Meghan's Netflix show to be cancelled, it's best not to watch it. Like, in a moment, like the clock is correct maybe twice a day, and Angela Levin just nailed it, right? The first time ever she has said anything that is approaching sanity. She's like, if you don't want it to be, if you're calling for the show to be cancelled, it's best not to watch it. But because Megan's name drives so much traffic, they can't help but go ahead to watch it so that they can come out and hate on it. Isn't that the craziest thing? I didn't even, she finally sounded like she actually has a brain that reasons with some logic sometimes. Because the unintended result of them talking about Megan, whether they're loving her or hating her, is that they end up promoting whatever it is that Megan is doing, which Megan is using to her own advantage. And I love it for her that she's doing that. Because what else is she supposed to do? Cry into her teeth that they're hating on her? Let's not forget the shade of Kate, who dropped her summer nature video the day after Megan's trailer. If that was Megan, we know what they would be talking about. We know what they would be saying, right? Megan is um trying to outshine Kate. But when Kate does it, absolute silence. And what is great is that in moments of clarity, every now and then they have maybe some journalists who has not been copied into the hate Meghan memo, and they come on to the British talk shows and they say exactly the same thing. I remember they were talking about something last week and they were like, yeah, oh, it was this Kate's summer nature, whatever it is, show that she's doing. And this guy came in and he was like, this is rubbish. This is crap. It was on GB News. And they were like, if it was Megan who did this, we would be panning her. But because it's Kate, we are praising it or we're not seeing anything wrong with it. But this is absolute rubbish. What is she even talking about? All the other presenters on the show who had the get on the Megan hates train memo were all looking uncomfortable, like, ooh, nobody told this guy that he's not supposed to come on here and tell the truth. I found that so funny. So, so very funny. Anyway, what is undeniable is that the numbers don't lie, right? Megan's trailer, as at the time that this screenshot was taken, had 345,000 views. And I'm sure it must be double that at the moment. Meanwhile, Kate's video had 12,000 views, right? I'm not saying Kate flopped, but let's say the math is mathing, okay? Let's say the math is mathing. Before I break down this latest scandal, let's pause for a second. If this is your first time on here, take a moment to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. If you have visited before, but you haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting on? Join our growing community and help us reach our goal of 10K subscribers. To my loyal supporters who have been with me from the beginning, thank you so much for sticking with me on this journey. Your encouragement keeps me going. Don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comment section below, okay? Right, so where were we? Speaking of Kate and Will, apparently they have found another forever home. First, it was Kensington Palace, then Adelaide Cottage. Now it's something called Forest Lodge. Honestly, how many forever homes does a person need in their life? How many forever homes does a person need in their life? Look like every 5 years for them. When they first moved into Kensington Palace, they had to justify their 4.5 million spent on the renovations by calling it their forever home. Now that they're inching closer to the throne, they want and Harry and Meghan have moved away and are living in a literal, well, not literal castle, but a mansion, a Mac mansion in America. They know they now want something that can compete with what Harry and Meghan are living in. So this their new property, which is said to be valued at the cost of 16 million, probably fits the bill. What is funny about all this reporting on this property is that what is funny about it is that they didn't have to talk about it. But when they started to talk about it, they decided that they were going to minimize the size of the property as if Google does not exist for everyone and it only exists for journalists, right? They decided that they were going to edit the size of the mansion to make it look like a modest cottage, But the Sussex Squad Detective Agency went on and pulled out the aerial shots. So, as you can see on the screen, on the left, you've got the tabloid picture, which made it look the way that Frogmore Cottage looked like. But on the right are the aerial shots of the property. So you can see that this is a compound. This is a compound. It is not a cottage by any means. And when they were taking the photographs for the tabloid picture, they made it look like the front section was just single. But behind the front section, you can see that there is another building behind it, equivalent to the front section. So, yeah, this is a definite compound. Just look at the difference in the size. Honestly, it is definitely about 8 times bigger than what the media was showing us. Not that it matters, but because at the end of the day, the British public don't care what these people live in. If you know the reality of how all of this works, you will know that the British media are the ones who like to get people agitated about the luxury that the royal family live in. I'm not going to go into the details of that in this video because I've gone on and on and on and on about it. But I'm just saying, like, why lie? Why lie? Just if you're going to report on it, report on it. If you're not going to report on it, just shut up. Nobody asks you. We were here minding your business, and you're here telling us that Kate and William moved into a new house. And then you're reporting on it and you're showing us a small section of the house as if Kate and William are moving into a small house. Meanwhile, they're moving into a literal castle. I'm sure this was a former castle that they're moving into, all because I'm sure they want to compete with Harry and Meghan. Anyway, a thought crossed my mind when I was thinking about this, and I just thought to myself, it's quite interesting that the story of their home move leaked at this time, because what happened was that, unless I am wrong and I'm not thinking clearly, but wasn't it just last week that people were talking about Camilla's yacht, billionaire yacht holiday? And then this week we've got a story about Kate's move. The leaks are very sus to me. I can't wait to see what William comes up with in retaliation next week. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Or is it just me being overactive? Look at this. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's time for a Sentebale update. Okay? Right. So, with Sentebale, you guys might have heard the Times have given us an update on the financial situation of Sentebale. Right now, Sentebale has now laid off 4 out of its 5 UK staff. Yep, the charity that Prince Harry co-founded in honor of his mom is basically on life support. And who is still sitting pretty at the top? Sophie Chandauka. Now, Sentebale is spinning this, that is Sentebale Even now, when I say Sentebale, I still think of it as Sentebale in association with Prince Harry. Still not with Sophie, but the reality is now, currently Sentebale under Sophie Chandauka is spinning the loss of these staff as planned restructuring. But the receipts say otherwise, right? Apparently, and we have seen that to be the case, donors have been walking away ever since Sophie dragged Harry's name through the mud with those bogus bullying allegations. Even legacy donors said we're out, and without Prince Harry, the Pono fundraisers dried up as well. Let's be real, Sophie didn't. Honestly, I would say she either doesn't get it or she doesn't care. She either doesn't get it or she doesn't care. Oh, she doesn't care because she has achieved her objective. Whatever it is that she was planted in Sentebale to go and do, she has achieved her objective. So she doesn't care if she runs the charity into the ground. But the sad part of it is that the kids in Lesotho who depended on that support are the ones now suffering for all of this. You know, that is why some of us are putting together a complaint to the Solicitors Regulatory Authority to hold Sophie accountable. When I mentioned this in a couple of my videos, my previous videos, some people were saying Prince Harry needs to move on and not look back. Let me be clear, I'm not talking about dragging Harry back to Sentebale. No, that's not what the complaint is about. It's about holding Sophie accountable for her actions because she has clearly not acted in the best interests of the charity or the beneficiaries of the charity. Okay. And as a solicitor, she is a UK registered solicitor. She has a duty to act in the best interest of whoever, of all the parties that she has responsibility for. So basically, I'm just saying that this is about accountability. It's just like if you buy something from a shop, you can write to the shop and complain. That's exactly what it is. So, as people who have donated to Sentebale, we have a right to complain about the activities of the chairman of Sentebale when there is a registered body who actually supervises her conduct in private and in public. Because I know some people may argue and say, well, she's not acting in her role as a solicitor, but the solicitor's conduct rules don't just apply to you when you're acting as a solicitor. It also applies to whatever you're doing outside of your role as a solicitor. So wherever you are, whether you're acting as a wife, a husband, a chairman of a charity, you still have to uphold the same the same code of conduct as prescribed by the Solicitors Regulatory Authority. Anyway, because you can't just run a charity into the ground while the beneficiaries are left with nothing, that's clearly not acting in the charity's best interest. So, if you would like to get involved, so we're not taking a commentary about the draft outline of the complaint, which is now in the private Instagram group, which I've set up on Instagram. But if you would like a copy of the complaint, I'll click the link at the top of the chat and you will have access to the private group. Another way of dealing with it is anybody who is on my mailing list will have an opportunity to receive a copy of the complaint. So when you get it, if you choose that you want to get involved, you can take the complaint, put it in an email, and send it to the Solicitors Regulatory Authority. The more the merrier, and the more the impact of the complaint would be. Sophie can't just get away with this. The problem is that Prince Harry, as a patron, is limited in what he can do, right? And he has so many court cases going on that I'm sure he would prefer not to have to take Sophie to court, given that the Charity Commission have already cleared him of bullying. If they didn't clear him of bullying, maybe he would have had to take her to court because it would have impacted his professional reputation. But now that they've cleared him, he really doesn't need to do that. And he's got so many court cases going on. Unless she makes a move, he might not need to do that. But what about the children? Why does Sophie get to just come in, destroy a charity just like that? Anyway, if you would like to do something about it, join us on Instagram. The link to the private Instagram group is at the top of the chat. And if you are interested in participating but you don't have access to Instagram, indicate in the comment section and I will send you a copy of the complaint when I am um, ready with the final version of it, which would probably be by the end of next week. I've been giving everyone enough time to come to the group to make their comments and so that I can deal with all the commentary and all the suggestions that everyone has made all at one go. But now that we are at the end of the consultation period, all that is left is for us to send it. So if you want to be one of those who is sending the complaints to the SRA, go ahead, join the group, gain access to the complaint, or be ready to receive an email. If you're not a member of the mailing group, indicate in the comment section below and I will send you the link so that you can subscribe to our mailing group. So from Netflix wins to Meghan's show-stopping trailer to Kate's forever homes and Sophie's Sentebale mess, it's been a week of royal chaos. But one thing is clear: the Sussexes keep pushing forward. They are thriving, while the haters are yet to recover from their tears from the Sussexes' success. Is that not witchcraft? Is that not witchcraft? Is that not the definition of witchcraft? And I know it's very shocking to hear me say, is that not witchcraft? But honestly, how can you imagine that in real time? We think of these things as being mainly spiritual, but in the Sussexes are seen in real time, real human beings who are unhappy because they are succeeding, because they're able to move forward, because they're able to put one step in front of the other. They can literally see people who are unhappy about it. Is that not the definition of wickedness in high places? Anyway, tell me in the comments, what was your favorite meltdown moment of the week? Angela Levin trying to sound sane, the media rooting for Harry and Meghan to get fired, or Kate's little video flop? I want to know. Guys, that's all I have for this evening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, this is Wheezy signing off. Ciao.